You don't have a money problem, you have a snapback problem. You wake up motivated, you visualize, you affirm, you feel good for a moment. And then the day happens. An email, a bill, a delay, a memory of something that didn't work before. And suddenly, without deciding to, you're back in scarcity, back in tension, back in that familiar internal posture of waiting, hoping, checking. Here's the truth most people never hear. If your day keeps pulling you back into scarcity, it's not because you're doing techniques wrong. It's because your state is unstable, and an unstable state cannot hold wealth. In the next minutes, I'm going to give you a simple 24-hour protocol, morning, day, and night, that stabilizes your inner position so money stops feeling like something you chase and starts feeling like something that's already handled. This isn't about forcing belief. It's not about being positive all day. And it's definitely not about repeating affirmations while secretly checking your bank app. This is about structure, because here's something Neville hinted at constantly, but most people overlook. You don't rise to what you want. You fall back to what you're practiced in being. Random techniques don't rewire a state. Rituals do. A state is not a thought. It's not even a feeling. A state is a position you return to when you stop trying. Who are you when you're not monitoring yourself? Who are you when nothing is actively going right? That's your real assumption. And this is why people say, I manifested once, but I can't stay there. They touched the state, but they didn't stabilize it. This protocol works because it mirrors how the mind actually functions across a day. Morning decides who you are. Day tests whether you negotiate with appearances. Night decides what gets impressed as fact state, focus, imaginal act, in that order. Not visualization whenever you feel anxious. Not affirmations as damage control. A clean rhythm that trains your nervous system to recognize wealth as normal. And here's an important warning before we go further. This will reduce your emotional reactions. It will make you calmer around money, less urgent, less dramatic. And if part of you is addicted to urgency, to the rush of trying to fix, this will feel uncomfortable at first. That's how you'll know it's working. Because wealth is not a mood, it's a baseline. In the next chapter, we'll start with the 7-minute morning activation, the part that quietly decides how the rest of your day unfolds, whether you think about money or not. Listen closely. This is where the state is chosen. The morning is not for motivation. It's not for fixing anything, and it's definitely not for checking reality. The morning is where you decide who you are before the world gets a vote. Most people start their day unconsciously asking, what do I need to handle today? What might go wrong? What am I behind on? And without realizing it, they wake up inside scarcity. This is why this activation is short. 7 minutes, no effort, no hype. Because a state is not created by force, it's selected. Minute 1. Identity statement. 60 seconds. Before you imagine anything, before you visualize money or outcomes, you stabilize identity. Not a long affirmation, not a list. One sentence, spoken internally, slowly. Something like, I am the person for whom money is handled. Not coming, not improving, handled. Or I move through my days from security, not urgency. The words don't matter as much as the position they imply. You're not asking for wealth. You're locating yourself after the question has been answered. Say it once, then pause. Let the body register it. If the mind argues, you don't argue back. You don't correct it. You simply notice, this is who I'm practicing being. That's it. Minutes 2 to 4. Wealth scene, micro-visualization, 3 minutes. Now you imagine, but not a fantasy. This is crucial. You don't imagine winning. You imagine relief, a small, boring moment that would only happen if money were already stable. For example, checking your phone and feeling neutral. Paying for something without internal math. Sitting somewhere ordinary, realizing there's nothing to fix. The scene should be short. 10 to 15 seconds max. And you loop it gently, not to feel excited, but to feel normal. If excitement comes, let it pass. Return to the quiet sense of, this is already handled. You're teaching the mind what wealth feels like when it's no longer dramatic. That's the state. Minutes, 5 to 7. Day intention, plus 1 sentence rule. 3 minutes. Now you seal the day. You choose 1 sentence that governs how you relate to appearances. For example, today I don't negotiate with what I see. Or, today I respond from security, not reaction. This is not positive thinking. It's a behavioral rule. You're deciding in advance who you will be when tested. Then you stop. No overthinking. No checking if it worked. And this is important. After this ritual, do not monitor yourself. The moment you start asking, am I still in the state? You've left it. The state holds you, not the other way around. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the daytime rule that protects this state when bills show up, delays happen, and doubt tries to start a conversation. This is where most people lose the work, and this is where you won't. This is the part that decides everything. Not your visualizations, not your affirmations, not even your belief, your reaction. During the day, reality will speak, and it will not ask politely. An email arrives. A bill shows up, a timeline stretches. A memory whispers, this always takes longer. And here's where most people lose the state without realizing it. They start negotiating. They argue with what they see. They explain it. They emotionally process it. They mentally rehearse consequences. All of that is negotiation. And negotiation means, I accept this as something I must respond to internally. Your one rule is simple. Don't negotiate with the 3D. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means you do not let appearances choose your inner position. Let's make this practical. Example 1. Bills. A bill appears that triggers contraction. The old pattern is immediate. Okay, how do I fix this? Why is it like this again? I need to be careful. That entire internal sequence places you back in scarcity. The new response is almost boring. You acknowledge the bill externally, and internally you say, this doesn't get a vote. Not angrily, not defiantly, calmly. You pay it, schedule it, or note it without commentary. The wealth state is not proven by the absence of bills. It's proven by non-reactivity. Example 2, delays. Something doesn't move as fast as expected. This is where doubt likes to sound reasonable. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe I need a new technique. That voice is not intuition. It's the state trying to reassert itself. Your replacement script is short. Delays don't change who I am. You don't affirm abundance. You don't visualize. You simply refuse to downgrade identity because of timing. Example 3, internal doubt. Sometimes nothing happens externally, but the doubt comes anyway. A random thought. What if this never stabilizes? Here's the key. You don't answer the question. Answering is negotiating. Instead, you redirect the inner conversation. I've already decided who I am. Then you move on. This rule works because states are maintained by micro-agreements. Every time you emotionally engage with scarcity, you sign the agreement again. Every time you don't, the state weakens. You are not suppressing thoughts. You are withdrawing consent. And something subtle will start to happen after a few days. Money-related thoughts lose urgency. You stop checking. You stop mentally preparing for disappointment, not because you're trying, but because the state no longer needs protection. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the night seal, the 90-second SATS routine that locks this identity into place while you sleep. This is where the assumption becomes automatic, and once that happens, the day stops feeling like something you survive. Night is where the state becomes fact, not because night is magical, but because the mind is no longer arguing. Throughout the day, you practiced non-negotiation. You refused to react. You held position. Now, before sleep, you impress. This is not a long visualization session. It's not effortful, and it should never feel like work. If it does, you're too awake. Set up. Entering drowsiness. Lie down comfortably. You don't force relaxation. You let the body sink. Your job is not to control the breath, just to notice it. As the body softens, let the edges of the day blur. You're not replaying events. You're not correcting anything. You're drifting. This is the threshold Neville called SATS, the state akin to sleep. When you feel slightly heavy, slightly floaty, not quite asleep, not fully awake, you're ready. The 90-second scene. Already secure, already handled. You choose one simple scene. Not success, not celebration, security. For example, lying in bed on another night, feeling calm about money, closing your eyes with the sense that everything is covered. Thinking, I don't need to think about this anymore. The scene is short, 10 seconds or less. And here's the key. You loop the feeling, not the images. Let the body register that sense of nothing to fix, nothing to manage, nothing to anticipate. If the mind wanders, gently return. No force, no correction. You're not trying to convince yourself. You're allowing the subconscious to recognize familiarity. Loop technique plus sensory anchor. As you loop the scene, add one subtle anchor. The weight of the blanket, the softness of the pillow, the warmth in your chest. This ties the wealth state to rest, not effort. After about 90 seconds, stop imagining. Don't check if it worked, don't add affirmations, just sleep. This is important. If you fall asleep during the scene, that's perfect, because the last assumption carried into sleep is what gets accepted without resistance. And here's something most people misunderstand. You don't manifest from the scene, you manifest from the state the scene implies. Do this nightly, not to get results, but to normalize security. Within days, you'll notice something shift. You wake up less reactive, you think about money less, and when you do, it feels distant, neutral, solvable. That's the state taking over. In the final chapter, we'll set a 7-day challenge, not to look for signs, but to track consistency. And I'll show you the one mistake that breaks this ritual if you're not aware of it. This is where everything locks in. For the next 7 days, you are not tracking money, you are not watching signs, you are not checking for movement, and you are definitely not asking, is it working? Because that question belongs to the old state. This challenge is about consistency of position, not outcome. Here's the rule. For 7 days, you only track whether you did the ritual. Morning, daytime rule, night seal. That's it. If money thoughts come up, fine. If doubts appear, fine. If nothing seems to change, perfect. None of that is the metric. Your only question at the end of each day is, did I return to the state? Not did I feel good. Not did I believe, not did something happen. State is proven by behavior. Did you refuse to negotiate with appearances? Did you interrupt inner conversations that tried to downgrade identity? Did you fall asleep from security instead of tension? That's the work. Now, here's the error that breaks the ritual, and most people never notice it. They start using the ritual to fix the day. A bad morning happens, so they redo the activation. A delay appears, so they visualize harder at night. That turns the ritual into reaction, and the moment you use a technique to repair reality, you admit reality has authority. This protocol only works when it's non-reactive. You don't do it because something went wrong. You do it because this is who you are now. Wealth is not something you earn emotionally. It's something you stop questioning. And questioning fades when repetition makes a state familiar. By day 4 or 5, something subtle will happen. You'll notice less internal commentary, less mental planning, less urgency, not because you forced calm, but because the assumption has stopped being challenged. This is the point most people sabotage themselves. They think, I guess I don't need to do this anymore. That's the old state trying to come back. Instead, you continue, not forever, but until security feels unremarkable. Because when wealth feels boring, it's stable. If you found this protocol grounding, like the video, it helps this reach the people who need stability, not hype. If you want deeper breakdowns like this, subscribe to the channel. We're building a library of state-based work, not quick fixes. And tell me in the comments, which part of the day is hardest for you to stay non-reactive, morning, day, or night? In the next video, I'll reveal error number 1 that silently breaks this ritual, even when you're doing everything right. And once you see it, you'll never approach SATS the same way again.